Okay, guys, what I did here, we created two tables, the student table and then the course table. What we need to do now, we need to create our relationships. Relationships are the fact that in here we have a ton or maybe a list of students, and then we want to check maybe using the course that in this course ID we have how many students we have. We're just going to click in here. Maybe there will be a short plus sign here. When you click the plus sign, we are going to be able to see, let's see, we have maybe, let me say, 10 students doing computer studies, right? And then maybe we could have like 5 students doing a hospitality, and then we have maybe like, let me say, 100 students doing foundation. That's basically what we call relationship in our database languages. So that's the basics of relationships. Other than coming into each and every table, seeing what's okay, how we have these students with ID 1004, and then looking into the ID, okay, it's doing 1140. Short, that means it's canceling. Then maybe you should have write him down and then count them one by one. Kuti ama 1140, they maybe there are six in here, so we have 6 students doing canceling. That's not how we work. Instead, we're just going to click in here and then click the short plus in here, and then we're going to see we have 6 students doing hospitality. That's what we call a relationship, and handling information in a much sophisticated and much manageable way. So that is why we do in our relationships. So without any waste of time, we're going to save our tables in here and then close them. We need to close them before we start creating our relationships. We said to create a relationships, go to database tools and then choose relationships. And then this is where you are going to get into creating MR relationships. In here, to create a relationship, excuse me, what we just need to do is to right click and then show the table. After showing the table, you're going to have all your tables that you created in here. If they are all in proper state, you are just going to have to see them in here. So I'm just going to like click them and add both of them and then close this window. I have just added both of them. To create my relationship, I am going to use the course ID because I have the course ID as the primary key in this course table, which is the secondary table, and then I have the course ID, which is the foreign key in here. Why do we call it a foreign key? It's because it is a primary key on the other table. That is why we call it a foreign key in here, because in here we have a primary key. The primary key here is student ID, and then the course ID is a key in its table. That is why it is a foreign in this table. I think you understand. So I'm just going to join both of them. When I join of them, and then I'm going to choose enforce referential integrity and then cascade and then delete, update and delete, and then create. As you can see, I had no problem creating my table because I already had them matching from the course IDs in this table. They are matching with this one. That's what makes what usually makes most of your tables to like not to match. If your course ID in this table do not match with the course IDs in this table, you make sure that the data type is the same and then the course IDs are the same. That will give you no problem when trying to create your relationships. So in order for us to see, we see our relationships are now working. I'm just going to save the relationships and then maybe close this window and then come back to the course. And then when we see, now we have only 4 courses in here, right? But if you can see in the first column, we have a short or small plus sign. When I click the plus sign, it is going to tell me how many students are enrolled in this course. That is what we call relationships. Let me just click. Now we see we have only 2 students in here in this course. We can create a like a total up here to total them up. If we have a long list of the students, we can create a total here and then total them up like in Excel to add them up. But now we were just demonstrating how to use the relationships. As you can see, now I have 2 students enrolled in computer studies. If I then minimize it, I can check, okay, maybe I want to see how many students we have in foundation. Other than going to here and counting them one by one, could say for 1004 is maybe here's got 1140, that's foundation. No, we can just close this table, like close this one, and then work with this one. Now we have both our tables in one table. That is what we call relationship and databases, because now we have both our tables in one table. So I can click in here and check, okay, in foundation we have like four, or like maybe say 3 students, right? And then maybe we can close. We can in trauma counseling or something, we have like 3 students also. Let me close. And then we maybe in hospitality we also have 2 students. That's basics. That's the basics of making relationships and what we call handling data in access or in databases. And then I think we need to cut our video or our clip now. We are going to continue in the next lecture, starting into creating database, queries. How do we create queries? How do we run them? And then that will be, I think that will be enough for your database, lectures. We are only left with doing queries.